begin in child's pose. Walk your knees wide to the edges of your mat and bring your toes together to touch. Walk your fingertips all the way towards the front of your mat and lower your chest and your forehead down to the mat. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. One more. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, press your hips back just a little bit more. Downward facing dog. Come up to hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. Press into your feet. Lift your hips up to the ceiling. You can walk your feet to a place that feels comfortable. You can kind of create a position of down dog for yourself by coming into plank pose, getting your knees or your shoulders stacked over your wrists and your heels stacked over your toes. And then from here, just lift and come back. And that's a great template for your downward facing dog. Spread your toes wide, spread your fingers wide, and check to see that your wrist creases are parallel to the front of your mat. Soften your elbows, especially if you have a little bit of overmobility in your, or hypermobility in your elbows. And if the backs of your legs are tight, a soft bend in your knees. Lengthen your spine. Press your armpits back towards your toes. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Walk your feet to the front of your mat for ragdoll. Take your feet hip width apart, feet pointing towards 12 o'clock. Soften your knees. Hold on to opposite elbows. Let your head hang heavy. Another deep breath here. Ground down through the four corners of your feet. Release your arms. Heel toe your feet to touch, or mostly to touch. Feet pointing still at 12 o'clock. Rise all the way up for extended mountain pose. Draw your belly in and up and adjust your hips so that your pelvis is neutral. For me, that means I need to lift the front of my pelvis as the tailbone descends. Take another breath in, reach up. Bring your hands to prayer. 1 Om, inhale. Three sun salutation A's. Inhale, reach up. Fold forward as you exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Shoulders away from your ears. Downward facing dog, exhale. 1 breath. Exhale. Walk your feet to the front of your mat. You'll notice that my feet don't come all the way to the front, and at some point my hands have to come up off the floor. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold forward, exhale. Mountain pose, reach up. Right back into the second one, fold forward. Soften your knees. Halfway lift. Lift your upper arm bones up towards the ceiling and squeeze your shoulder blades in towards your spine. Chaturanga as you exhale. And remember, you can just do a little baby bend in your elbows. That's better than going all the way to the floor here. Upward facing, your arms are straight. Press down into the tops of your feet and into your hands. Downward facing dog. 1 breath. Exhale. Top of your mat. So I'm way up on my tiptoes as I walk forward, and when I can't walk forward anymore, I come up on fingertips. Halfway lift. Fold. Mountain pose. right into the third one, fold forward. Halfway lift, chaturanga. High to low push-up, all in one exhale if you can. Upward facing, breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Deep breath. Make sure your hands are flat, top of your mat. Halfway lift, fold forward. And from here we move right into our sun salutation bees. Chair pose, one breath in. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway lift on your inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Upward facing, inhale. Downward facing, exhale. Right side warrior one. I like to step my back foot forward a little bit first. Then take a big step with my front foot. Reach up. This all happens on one breath in. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga, that all happens on one breath out. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left side, little step, big step. Inhale up. Exhale down. Upward facing. Downward facing. One breath. Exhale completely. And the top of your mat on your exhale. You're on empty. Halfway lift. You inhale again. Fold forward as an exhale. Chair pose. Remember, weight in your heels. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Check your hand alignment, 12 o'clock with your hands. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior one, right side. Working to square both of your hips to face the front of the room. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left side. Warrior one. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Deep breath in. Big breath out. Top of your mat. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Chair pose. And stand. Namaste.